Hello, my name is Kenny. Welcome to Imeclodia. In today's tutorial, I will show you how to fix a gaping armhole. Over time, I discovered that I started having gaping on my armhole. What do I mean by gaping? Gaping means when you have a looseness on your garment that causes it not to be fitting on your body. When you have extra fabric hanging around your body. In this case, I have gaping on my armhole. That means I have extra fabric hanging around my armhole. So while I noticed this development, I started making research and looking for ways to fix the issue. Along the line, I discovered that I need to be adding bust darts to my garments. So I did that. I added bust darts and I discovered that the gaping still remains. So I continued my research. Later on, I found out that I could actually remove the gaping completely. I would have to remove the excess from the fabric and use that method to remove the gaping. And in the process of doing that, I discovered that I can actually convert the gaping into a dart in that part of the garment. So while I was trying to remove the gaping from the armhole, I eventually found out a method where I could actually convert the excess fabric into a dart. If you'd like to see how I do this, how I convert the looseness, the gaping on the armhole into a dart, let's head to the cutting table. To start with, I'll be drafting my basic bodice. I'm sorry my paper looks rumpled. This is what I have at the moment and I really want to do this video now. So please bear with me. I hope you can see this clearly. That's why I'm using a colored pencil. So this is my starting point. This is my chest line, my bust line, and my waist line. So I'll start with my back measurement. My back is 14 inches. So that's 7 inches. And on that point, I'll mark 1 inch to draw my shoulder slant. So I'm connecting that to my center front. I assume we all know how to draft a basic bodice. So from there, I'll measure my 7 inches again. Okay, and 7 inches here as well. I'll be inputting my horizontal measurements for my vertical lines. Here I'll put my bust circumference measurement. Here as well. And this will be my waist circumference. 28 inches for my waist, that's 7 inches. And I'll make my dart 1.5 inch. My dart intake will be 1.5 inches. My bust span will be 36 divided by 8, and that will be 4.5. Mark 3/4 inch on both sides. Yeah, 3/4 of an inch on both sides of that bust span. I'm sharing 1 inch on both sides so that I would eventually have 1.5 for my dart. My bust span is still 4.5. I'll measure that figure here on my bust line. Then 1 inch below that point is where I'll start my dart. I'll start to draw my dart next. This is the middle of my dart. Now I need to connect my side seam here. Having done that, next thing is to draw my armhole. I'll divide this place into 2. I have 7 inches here, divided by 2 is 3/1/4. And on this place, I will insert my across chest. My cross chest is 12.5 inches, so I'll divide 12.5 by 2. If I divide 12.5 by 2, I have 6.25 of an inch. This would be my cross chest. I'll use that to mark to draw the armhole. So here's my armhole, front armhole. Now in order to fix the gaping like I have explained before, okay, in order to find out where to start to fix your gaping, you have to pin the part where the excess fabric is on your garment, like this. You can do it on a mannequin or do it even on yourself while you are wearing the garment. Once you have pinned it, you would measure from your shoulder seam, from this shoulder seam right along to where the gaping started. I have about 4.5 inches here, and from there I would measure. Remember, we folded this. I would measure what I have on one side of the gaping. I have 1 inch here, so that because it's folded, my gaping, overall gaping figure will be 2 inches. So from that 4.5 inches, I'll mark the 4.5 on my armhole here. From this mark, I'll mark my gaping excess, which is 2 inches. So these 2 points, I'll start again. From the shoulder seam, I'll measure where my gaping started. And from that point where the gaping started, I would put my gaping excess measurement, which in this case is 2 inches in my case. So I'm going to find the middle point of that place. Okay. I'm using my tape rule to find the exact middle point of the curve. It's curved, so you have to be careful in measuring it accurately. So this is my bust span. I'm connecting those lines to my bust span. Remember, I said I'm converting it to a dart. If I were to remove it, I'll just slash it and spread and close it. And that means I'll be adding extra darts to another place. But in this case, I want to turn it to a dart. Now this is my new dart on my bodice front. So the next thing I'll do now is find. Okay, before I go ahead to do that, I am here to put my neckline. So here's my neckline. I'm using 3 inches by 3 inches because it's a basic block. I still need to. The next thing I will do is redraw my dart legs. Remember, this is my bust span. Our bust don't start exactly on the bust span. You have to back away by about 1 inch, 3/4 of an inch, based on your cup sizes. So in this case, I'll be backing off from the bust span by about 3/4 of an inch. I'm using another color of pen so that you will see clearly what I'm doing. So from here, I'll redraw my dart legs. So these are my new dart legs. Now the next thing I'll do is to throw my dart. So to throw my dart, what I'll need to do is, to be able to have a better control, I'll cut out this pattern with extra extra paper around because I'll need it for throwing the darts. Now, in order to throw my darts, I'll fold this one dart leg, like one dart leg on top of the other dart leg. So to do that, I'll fold this. You don't really need to care about this center dart leg. What you care about is that this dart leg is folding on top of this dart leg. So remember, we have redrawn our dart, so we are focusing on the new dart that we have redrawn. And we want our dart fold to fold towards the side. For an armhole dart, you want your dart to fold to the side. Your dart excess. This is your dart excess. You should fold towards the side. And if you like, you can fold it towards the center. Just ensure that you trim it appropriately when you are doing that. But for me, I think it works better when I do it like this. And when I read some pattern drafting books, I discovered that the right place to fold an armhole dart is towards the side seam. So that's what I'll be doing here. So I'm folding one dart on top of the other. Okay. So after folding, this is what I have. So if you can see it, the armhole has shifted. It has shifted and I practically do not have a armhole anymore. So this was my armhole curve, and this is the rest of the armhole curve. So what I'll need to do is to redraw the armhole by blending both of this curve and this curve together. But before I do that, I will pin this fold. If you have a tape, you can use it. Preferably a transparent tape, and preferably something you can write on. What I'll be doing now is to be redrawing my armhole, and to do that I'll just follow the armhole line I have here to redraw a new armhole. I'm using another color pen so you can see it clearly. Now this is my new armhole. So if I'm cutting my pattern, I'm cutting my armhole along this line. I discovered that anytime I do this, my measurement, the length of my bodies tend to shorten. I guess it's because I folded this part, and this side too is reduced. So what I do is I just add extra to the length and extra to the side. But before I do that, I'll just trim this part, trim it out, so that I'll have my dart jogs. You can use a scissors to do this. You just cut it out directly. I'm just showing you this so that you know you can also use this method. So my tracing wheel has actually given me a mark here to see how my dart will look when I cut it with my scissors. So I'm just going to be tracing that part out with a pen. So when I cut it out, I have something like this. So before I go ahead and add the, I just cut it out so that you see how it looks. So this is how my dart looks, so that when I stitch my sleeve to the armhole like this, I would hold it down. When I stitch my dart, I would have stitched my dart to the dart point, and after I've done that, I'll fold it like this towards the side seam. And when I'm stitching my sleeve to the armhole, if it's going to have a sleeve, I will know that my dart will be positioned like this. Okay, like I said earlier, that my pattern tends to have a little shortage, so I noticed that I have about 1 inch to 1/4 of an inch shortage at the hem, at the waistline. So I'll just return that. And connect back to the center front. Okay, also for the side seam, it's a very minute shortage, like 1/2 inch to 1/4 of an inch. So I just do that here as well, and connect to my side seam to end at the side seam blinding. So my dart is ready, and this is basically how I convert my gaping issues into a dart to have a better fit for my garment. If you'd like to see how you can get rid of this dart completely from here without needing to have any dart here, let me know in the comment below. So the next thing to do is to just cut it out. That means I'll be extending my dart legs to the new waistline. And this is it on how to fix a gaping armhole, converting the extra fabric into a dart. Thank you for watching. See you in my next one. Bye.